Hello there, welcome to the Safeguarding Children training course. If you are a parent or a teacher, you know how challenging it can be to protect children. Inquiring young minds like to push against boundaries and explore the world around them. This natural process is part of their development in their formative years and helps them grow into reasoning adults. However, in addition to parents and guardians, those who work with and teach children are responsible for safeguarding their physical and mental health. According to Common English Dictionary definitions, the word safeguard means simply to protect something and also to protect someone from harm, damage or personal loss. When the term is used regarding practices involving children, it covers all aspects of ensuring and promoting a child's well-being. This would include protecting a child from maltreatment, supporting their development, and ensuring that the quality of their life is at the best possible level. The other definition that we need to clarify within this course is what classifies someone being legally considered as a child or groups being categorised as children. According to United Nations, UN, conventions and UK government legislation, the word applies to every human being below the age of 18 years unless under the law applicable to the child, majority is attained earlier. This essentially means that anyone under the age of 18 can be legally considered a child unless there are mitigating circumstances, such as formally agreeing to hold adult responsibilities after the school-leaving age of 16. So for purposes of this course, children will be an encompassing term that will include the age range from infants to young people. In the welfare and social care industries, the process of safeguarding children from harm is formally known as child protection. This is specifically used to describe activities that focus on children who are at risk of suffering from harm. It means that persons or groups are actively supporting them and shielding them from potential hazards or inappropriate behaviour. It can sometimes be challenging to identify those at risk, as perpetrators of abuse or exploitation may be skilled at hiding their intentions and coercing their victims into false compliance. In order for child protection to work effectively, there are three main principles that all strategies must observe. They are: support the child's well-being and provide an efficient way to report concerns that involve this. Ensure that local authorities and other agencies always take correct and appropriate actions that fulfil the child's needs. Endeavour to contribute fully to investigations and risk assessments relating to a child's safety and potential mistreatment. Some people who safeguard children may have difficulties upholding some of these principles. A lack of personal experience or feelings of empathy may complicate the situation. They may fear that they will be causing more distress to a child or guardian by reporting their concerns about suspected cases of abuse or neglect. In some cases, they may not think that an abuser is capable of performing harmful acts on an innocent. However, the consequences of overlooking or missing ongoing abuse can be tragic, and the primary consideration must always be the child's well-being. It's a mistake to stereotype the appearance or behaviour of a child abuser. Someone who mistreats children can come from any social class, gender or ethnicity. They can be someone who appears to be respectable or someone that holds a position with high amounts of responsibility. For instance, there have been well-documented cases of child abuse and exploitation being committed by parents, step-parents, close relatives and family friends, neighbours and colleagues, respected members of the community, teachers and childminders, social care workers, doctors and lawyers, shop owners and local business people. This is why safeguarding training is so important. It is tempting to think that protecting our younger generation is an instinctual or natural process. However, registered safeguarding training significantly raises awareness and understanding and increases knowledge about child protection strategies. Perhaps most importantly, it can help provide the first line of defence against child abuse and prevent it from happening at all. Safeguarding training for children should focus on multiple disciplines. However, the person involved in the training must formally commit to these 3 aspects: improving and assessing existing protection services for children, ensuring they are effective enough to shield them from harm; gaining an acute understanding and confidence in their role, especially regarding their safeguarding duties; prompting the awareness and appreciation of safeguarding roles to their colleagues and other agencies that they come into contact with. There are many myths and misconceptions regarding child abuse and exploitation. For instance, some people assume that repeat offenders of abuse are men and that they are always strangers to the victim. However, there have been many examples of child abuse and neglect being committed by women, and a large number of incidents involve close relatives. On the flip side, there have been unsubstantiated accusations propagated by the media that have incorrectly accused committees and groups of cult abuse and the mistreatment of children. To counteract extreme reactions, each allegation or disclosure from a potential victim must be considered seriously and investigated without any form of prejudice or assumption. Other misleading stereotypes that can misdirect safeguarding approaches are: child abusers can be identified due to lack of social skills and an abhorrent personality. Like many career criminals, abusers can be extremely intelligent, charming to others, and able to hide inappropriate behaviour or values. Child abusers are loners that shun contact with others. Abuse does and can occur with groups participating in the events, especially when it involves online sharing or life partners. Child abuse cannot occur in supervised healthcare or social care facilities. Despite background checking, it is still possible that a first-time offender or an abuser without a criminal record may use a privileged position to harm children. Children are prone to make up stories and lie about being abused. There have been cases where this has happened, but usually because adults have emotionally manipulated them. Even so, this is extremely rare, and their accusations should be fully investigated. No matter the circumstances, if a parent has a child that has been abused, they will lose custody of the child. Usually, children will only be removed from a family when it's the parents who are harming the child. As there are many myths about child abuse and exploitation, there are also many facts that will need to be considered. Some of these may be distasteful or difficult to believe, but they are proven by documented cases or recorded events. The main learning point to take away from all this information is that nothing should ever be taken for granted or assumed when it comes to safeguarding children. There are 5 main facts that those engaged in child protection will need to be aware of during their training and later duties. They are: child abusers can avoid criminal charges for their behaviour because young children are fearful of accusing them and going through the court process. Some parents remain unaware that their child is being abused due to the abuser being a friend or relative who is considered to be trustworthy. Neglect can be increasingly hard for a child to highlight due to the impairment of their own development that it causes. Child abusers may spend many months or even years grooming their victims and emotionally manipulating them to a high degree. Some cases of abuse continue to occur frequently because some guardians will question their judgment and suspicions. Anybody with direct and regular contact with children should consider themselves responsible for safeguarding their well-being. This would include those that work in local authorities, education, childminding, healthcare and social care. However, in moral and ethical terms, safeguarding responsibilities belong to everybody, even if they do not regularly have contact with children. Seeing a child in obvious distress should result in the witness reporting it to the appropriate authorities or agencies. Whether a person is a parent, childminder, teacher or observer, if they think a child is in immediate danger, emergency services should be contacted by dialing 999. If they are concerned about the well-being of a child in general, they should follow organisational child protection procedures if applicable and comply with existing safeguarding policies and procedures in place. Contact the NSPCC, National Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children, via their helpline or website. Contact local child protection services, which can be found on council websites or local community help desk. Contact the local police stations for appropriate guidance, advice and information sharing. That completes this first lesson, where we have comprehensively explored the principles of safeguarding children and some of the information you should be aware of in an associated role. In addition, we have also covered some of the myths and facts about child abuse in society. In the next lesson, we will focus on the UK laws and legislation that directly relate to child protection processes and how compliance with them affects safeguarding approaches. See you soon.